Hey everybody, it's me, Jeremy Pettis.
Steve Edelman.
And we are here today in front of the famous VG Donuts in Encinitas, California, San Diego, to demonstrate how you can eat 3 donuts, yes, 1, 2, 3 donuts, and still stay in range. Not have a low blood sugar, not have a high blood sugar. Now, before you guys go flooding our comment section or sending us emails about how dare we eat donuts, we want to be clear, we're not recommending that anybody do this. We realize that eating 3 donuts is not a good idea, whether you have diabetes or not. So we don't want you to all go out and do that. But we want to show that if you're going to eat some donuts, if you're equipped with the right tools, the right education, you can tackle basically anything, including 3 donuts, successfully. So with that in mind, what do you think, Steve? You ready?
You know what? I am starving. I might even do 4 today.
Oh gosh, it's already showing off. Let's just go get some donuts. So we accomplished our task. We bought our donuts, and check these out. These are delicious donuts. It is not an optical illusion, real donuts. And yes, there's more than 6 because who buys just 6 donuts? You need to get at least a dozen for friends and family and things like that. So let's talk real quick about how we're gonna do this. Some ground rules. First of all, we're gonna eat the same 3 donuts. We're men of science, so we want a controlled experiment. No, you get sprinkles and I don't, that kind of thing. We're gonna have 15 minutes to eat these 3 donuts. But our approach to how we're going to keep in range is going to be slightly different. So I'm going to use Afrezza, and because it works so quickly, I actually don't need to take it right now. I'm going to wait till we get back to the office and take it when we eat. Steve's going to do more of a traditional approach with, bolusing through his pump. So tell us a little bit about that.
I'll tell you a little bit now. It's all going to be about timing. Timing is everything, using ultra-rapid acting insulin. And I'll give the rest of the clues a little bit later.
Okay, so he doesn't want to divulge his secrets.
I'm gonna do it in the car.
Okay, so you're still gonna lose though. You know that, right? All right, so go do your thing. I'll go do my thing and I'll see you at the office.
All right.
All right.
Here's my strategy. Jeremy's cheating. He's using this awesome stuff called Afrezza, and that's the thing that will help him stay in range. But I'm gonna use timing. Timing is everything. When you're trying to avoid having kids and when you're trying to keep your blood sugars in range, eating VG donuts. So you see my blood sugar is 135. We're going to be eating donuts about 20 minutes from now. So I am going to go on to my hybrid closed loop system using ultra rapid acting insulin, and I give myself a pretty good bolus. I'm going to say like 60, 70 grams of carbs, which is 6 to 7 units. Now, depending on my blood sugar, when I sit down to eat, I might give myself another bolus. And I'm going to be really careful not to stack my dose and get below 70 because that's out of range. The other thing I'm going to do, if I see this arrow inflection going up at any time, another bolus, I might get into the parking lot, go up and down the steps, run around a little bit, because nothing's more effective than insulin and exercise.
All right, everybody, so here we are. We're back in the TCOID office. We've got our 3 donuts. Steve, show them your donuts. We got a maple bar, we got an old-fashioned, we got this fun little sprinkle number here.
We got coffee?
Yeah, because we're not
Cheers.
psychopaths. We're going to drink some coffee with our donuts. An update from Steve since we last saw him. Tell people what you did.
Okay, the update was, you saw me in the parking lot, looks like 135, 136. I gave myself 8 units of insulin, about 80 grams of carbs. And I got here and I was 142, and it's like 20 minutes. So I just input to my hybrid closed loop system 30 more grams.
Okay.
Which equates to 3 units.
So Steve's got 11 units on board. I've got none. And we're going to throw a little twist in here. We decided we wanted a control for this. So we invited our camera guy, Eric, who's more than a camera guy. He does all our videos and everything. We're going to have him do it too. But guess what? This lucky SOB doesn't have diabetes. So we're going to see what happens when he eats donuts compared to all the work we have to do. So get in here.
What is that? What is that?
Yeah,
I've never seen one of those
So
before.
Eric has never tested his blood sugar. And you can set the depth on these poker things. So I sent it to like just
10.
digging for gold.
Let me do it for you.
Yeah.
Really do.
Sides, lots of pressure. Boom.
Got it.
Oh, that is a good drop.
Yeah.
How many doctors does it take to test a blood sugar? Okay, Eric's 91. Of course he is.
You're right.
Good place to start. Okay.
He already went to Denny's for the Grand Slam breakfast.
Okay,
before.
91. All right, so we got that going. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Afrezza. Okay, go eat your donuts, Eric. I thought about a lot how much to take. I agree, this is probably 80 to 100 grams of carbs. So I'm going to take 2 of these 12-unit Afrezzas. And keep in mind, watch my video on how to use Afrezza well, but it's about a 2-to-1 ratio. So if I'm taking 24 units of Afrezza, it's more like 12 units of kind of Humalog, Novolog, your rapid-acting insulin. I'm going to inhale these right now. And I'm debating if I should take something through my pump also. Maybe a couple units to kind of cover the fat and stuff like that.
You can do
I know I shouldn't
whatever
look at you.
want to
All
do.
right, so I just put it in here, click it down. That's one.
Secondhand inhalation.
Oh my God, I'm getting so excited. As soon as I finish this, I'm just going to dig
You know how
in.
long we've been waiting to do this, filming?
Yeah, by the way, it's 11 a.m. now. We have not eaten. We're starving.
Yeah, and I think to reiterate what Jeremy said at the donut place, listen, everyone likes donuts, just like most people like to drink alcohol. We want to show you how to do it safely and stay in range because, you cannot be perfect all the time.
And it's worth talking about, again, that Steve gave all this pre-bolusing, which is the way to do it. With Afrezza, it does kick in, pretty much right away. So taking it right when you start to eat is appropriate.
I'm just checking to see if I'm starting to fall.
Okay.
And so far, okay, 120 diagonal down.
And I'm 137 flat arrow across. So that's a pretty close to, same where we're starting.
I mean, so like here it is, 120 diagonal down.
Okay.
Insulin's kicking in. That means
time to eat.
Okay.
All right.
Do we have to eat the same donuts
So
in the same order?
I'm not going to take anything through my pump right now. Let's just dig in. Cheers, man. I'm going to start.
We're going to eat all 3 right now?
Yeah, within 15 minutes. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Oh, you're starting with
Cheers.
that guy, huh? Oh.
This one back here.
Look at that. Oh, so good. All right, so an update. Yeah, super good. So we didn't really define what in range meant, so we should do that. So, what we call time in range now is a blood sugar between 70 and 180. So our goal is to stay within that range. If any of us fall out of that range at any time, they're out, and the other person gets to just kick them or whatever.
Wait a second, but it's the time you're out of range too, because it might just be touch above and you get back in.
No. As soon as you go out of range, you're out. You've lost. I don't care if it's for a second.
See, because I'm using subcutaneous insulin. I'm like steering an ocean liner. You're like driving a motorcycle.
Well, give us your update. I think you're
Okay,
saying this because you're upset. You're going to lose.
Okay, so now it's 34 minutes since I took the first 8. It's been about 10 minutes since I took the second 3, and now I'm 110 diagonal down. And a couple seconds ago, I was 120 diagonal down. So I'm just strategically picking the donut with the icing. That's just, hey, this is like treating a low, by the way.
I started with the old fashioned, which I really like. Now I'm going into like Mr. Sprinkle Zone here, which is good. And then I'm going to do the maple bar. So we'll check back in with them in a little bit.
But are you worried about rebounding up later on since the Afrezza gets out of your system?
No, I'm a
so far?
really good doctor. Really smart. So. Eric's eating his donuts too.
I'm on number 2. Number 2.
All right, guys, we'll see you in a bit. No, as soon as you go out of range, you're done.
You didn't say that rule ahead of time.
Well, something you need to be
No,
low the whole time.
you're making up rules the whole time.
You have to stay in range. It's not like how long
Yeah,
you're
but
out
you
of
didn't
range.
say you're out.
You're out.
You didn't? Did he say that before?
No comment.
And we're back. So it's been 15 minutes. We just polished off those 3 donuts, and that was a journey. It started off like with pure elation and joy, like through the first one, and somewhere about mid old-fashioned donut for me, things turned, and it started becoming a little bit of work to get through that. And now we're 3 donuts after 15 minutes. We're just calculating. It's probably about 1,200 calories. I feel like we got a brick in our stomach.
It's good behavior modification.
Yeah, we were just saying we don't ever want to have a donut again. But let's see, let's just start with mine because it's pretty easy. I'm actually at 130 and still straight across. I started at 136, 137, something like that. Hanging out. Let's get an update from Steve.
Yeah. Well, my blood sugar has, it was 136, and then it was 120 diagonal, then it was 99 diagonal. Now it's 90 diagonal. Now, I told Jeremy that, the icing on that maple bar is basically, sometimes people use icing in tubes to treat lows. So I am confident that I'm going to be coming in for a landing smooth, above 70.
Okay.
And that's our goal, anywhere between 70 and 180. And we will have successfully eaten 3 donuts. But what about after the 15 minutes?
Well, we'll just check in every once in a while. We're going to test Eric's blood sugar after 30 minutes to see how he's doing. And then for us, we'll just kind of check back in anytime there's any kind of intervention that needs to be done. You know, like if, we'll see if you do level out. I hope you do, because doing the pre-bolus like Steve did is so effective. And I think this is actually helpful to show that if you dose well before you eat, you can actually go down while you're eating, and, you know, hopefully he'll flatten out or rebound up a little bit. So hopefully you nailed it. So far, so good for me. So we'll check back in a little bit. Eric, do you want to say anything? How's your stomach?
I feel terrible.
Okay. All right, we'll see you in a little bit.
Okay.
And we're back. So, all right, we are now 30 minutes in post-donut, experience. Right now, I'm 105, kind of with an arrow going down, but on the dots, it looks like I'm leveling out.
What do you mean, kind of like the arrow going down?
Well, the arrow's it's diagonal down.
It's not kind of. It's going down.
Well, it's not down, is what I mean. It's
okay.
Kind of down. Who would have thought that we would be, kind of on the lower side, and with Steve worried about going low versus high with donuts. But so far, so good. And Steve, what do you got?
92 straight across.
Man, so far we're really hanging in there. So we're 92. That's where Eric started, actually, right, Eric?
81.
Yeah. So get in here, Eric. He's 30 minutes with a normal functioning human pancreas.
I'm so good at getting drops.
I hope you're higher than me and Steve.
Yeah.
See.
All right. Eric is 115.
Oh my God, he's higher than both of us.
He's higher than both of us. That wasn't our plan, but that's still pretty good. Like, we can give your pancreas a little.
Yeah, thanks.
It's right over here.
Over here.
This side. And we're back. So we're about 45 minutes in now. I haven't done anything extra. I took my 24 units of Afrezza right when I eat. Right now my blood sugar is 122, so it has a flat arrow across, but it is, kind of creeping up. Last time I was around 100 or so. So I actually am going to take a couple units through my pump right now. And the reason I'm doing that is because Afrezza, like I mentioned, it only lasts an hour and a half or so. So I know that's going to start wearing off, but there's a lot of fat in these donuts that's going to keep kind of getting my blood sugar to rise. So I'm going to take probably 2 units right now, maybe 2.5 through my pump.
So you're just going to give yourself a correction.
Give it and what's interesting is that I'm not high. So people might be saying that's not a correction. Like, what is it? This is a preemptive correction. And I think that's a lot about what we're trying to teach people, is that it's about being proactive rather than reactive. So, bolusing when your blood sugar is 122, people might be like, what's going on? But I'd rather stay in range rather than let myself go to 200 and then have to deal with correcting it and things like that. So a lot of what we're talking about is staying in range. You have to be thinking ahead constantly. So 2.5 units are going in right now.
Okay.
Give us the update.
Okay. 106 straight across. I'm still going to keep a close eye on it because there's got to be a time when it creeps up, but maybe not, because I did do a great job pre-bolusing. So I'm doing well.
Yeah,
I'm happy about it.
I think another point is, we didn't know what was going to happen when we did this, and our point was not to show you that we're amazing and we can do this. I was kind of hoping that Steve would go low.
But we are amazing.
Or go high. But it's just like Steve said, when you put some thought into it and some energy in it, you can tackle even 3 donuts. And so far, so good. So we'll check back in 15 minutes, and in 15 more minutes, it'll be in an hour.
Yeah.
So we'll see where our non-diabetic friend Eric is at. I hope we're still beating him. That would be great. So 15 minutes. We'll see you in 15 minutes.
Okay.
And we're back. All right. So we're an hour in now. My blood sugar now, I took a snapshot of this. It's a reminder, it was going up a little bit. It was in the 120s. I took 2.5 units of insulin. Now it's leveled off at 115 straight across. Pretty proud about that. Let's bring Eric back in now because it's been an hour. So Steve, if you wouldn't mind.
For me?
Yeah.
You can, Eric is shaky Sue here, so.
I'm shaking.
Check it for stool.
93. Wow. So you
Oh
peaked
my
up.
God.
And he didn't have to do any of this crap.
He went up 2 points.
He just enjoyed his, donuts. I'm happy for you, but also kind of upset.
I get it.
All right, get out of here.
Okay. Well,
Let's check in with Steve.
I got to get another snapshot because now I am 134 diagonal up. Am I surprised? No. You know, the donuts that were down here are now being absorbed and getting into my bloodstream. So what I'm going to do, which I commonly do, is I'm going to first give myself a correction dose of 3 units. You might think that's a lot, but not with that diagonal arrow. And then I'm going to go out to the parking lot and I'm going to do a couple laps in the top level. The combination of insulin and exercise, it's powerful. It just helps the blood flow to skeletal muscle, and the insulin that you have on board just sucks the glucose in. Probably one of the most effective ways to get your blood sugar down.
Yeah, and I'm just going to sit here and just kind of enjoy a moment to myself of just like having great blood
There's
sugars.
a couple beers in the fridge.
Yeah,
Why
I
don't
can do that, whatever, to make this a little bit more difficult for me, I guess. And I'll cheer you on. So let's go watch Steve get some exercise. And we're back. Okay, we have an unscheduled update here. This is very exciting. So despite my smug demeanor, my blood sugar now is 165 with a diagonal arrow up. So I'm terrified now about going above 180. So I am going to take another dose of Afrezza, this time 8 units. This is pretty common with using Afrezza, right around the 1.5 hour mark or so, doing this kind of follow-on dose.
Yep.
So 8 units going in right now.
It's just, it just depends on what you eat and how much you eat. And follow-on dose is a good thing because you're adjusting as you go on.
Well, I think I'm going to go run some stairs now too, just to make sure I don't go high.
Okay.
I'm going to go do my stairs.
Okay.
Talk to you guys soon.
Yeah. People in glass houses shouldn't throw stones.
All right, I'm 167, kind of leveling off a little bit, so I'm feeling a lot better about that. And we're back. Well, I'm back. All right, so just a quick update. Steve's on a call. I was 165 going up. I freaked out because I didn't want to go above 180 because I would never hear the end of it. So I took 8 of Afrezza, I ran those stairs, and I quickly turned around. You can see now my curve coming back down, so I'm 159 now. So just a point of how quickly Afrezza can work and how efficacious just doing a little bit of exercise can be. So I'm super happy I'm going back in the right direction. Feeling like Steve's not going to have this over me just yet. So we'll see you in the next update. All right, we are back for our final update, and a lot has happened. We're now 3 hours past when our first bite of the donuts. I'm now leveling off at 97, so I've done a pretty good job. I'll come back and give a little bit more of my recap. A lot has happened with Steve since we last saw you, as you can see.
I'm still in range.
Okay, so what happened?
Well, I was feeling pretty good when you were high and you had to go run a couple laps. And then all of a sudden, before I know it, I'm like 169, 170 diagonal up. It happened so fast. And so I gave myself a bolus of 8 units.
8 units.
171 straight up. And then I just took off to the parking lot. I did a bunch of steps. And I really did it because I wasn't going to let Pettis beat me. And now I am 108 with 1 arrow down, which is why I'm really enjoying some fresh lemonade.
So what have we learned today, Steve? So I've learned a lot. First of all, we have stayed in range, between 70 and 180. You had to, drink some juice, whatever. But you can do it. It just requires so much energy and effort when you're eating 3 donuts. But it's definitely doable. And I think a lot of it has to do with being proactive, doing things ahead of when you think your blood sugars are going high or low. I don't know. You have comments about that?
Well, you know what? I think you're right, Jeremy. It just shows that you have to pay attention, plan ahead, know how to respond to the trend arrows. And it is a full-time job. Yeah. Between running around and looking at it and dosing. But you know what? It's not that we're going to do this every day. Tomorrow, I'm only going to eat 2 donuts.
No, and I think the other thing that's very apparent is the differences between the effects of the carbs and the fat in the donuts. Because, we thought a lot about how many carbs were in these donuts. We bolused appropriately for that up front. And we did pretty well with that initial effect on the blood sugar. We're actually pretty flat. It wasn't until between 2 and 3 hours after eating these donuts that both of us started going up through the roof and had to take more insulin, do the stairs, all that kind of stuff. And we don't really have insulin to fat ratios. I have no idea how much fat was in those things, but that's what's making your blood sugars go up 2 to 3 hours later. And so you have to think about all these different things. Yeah, so kind of concluding thoughts. Again, we're not recommending that anybody, eat 3 donuts at any time. This would have been a very boring video if it was like, what do you do with cauliflower rice? I mean, when you eat low carb, like it does make it easier. But people, every once in a while, God forbid, they want to eat some carbs or donut or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And if you really think about it and put some time into it, you can control your blood sugars, even when tackling something really difficult with carbs and fat and all that.
And we've always said that people with diabetes can really eat anything they want as long as they can control their blood sugar. So there's no limitations. And there are things that you're not going to eat very often because they're really bad for you, but enjoy it once in a while, everything in moderation, and just keep your blood sugars in range.
That's the key. Everything in moderation. Again, I've learned a ton from this. This has been a really fun day of us, trying to do work and then intermittently coming back and filming this and seeing what's going on. Seeing Steve sprint out that door when his blood sugar almost hit 180 is something I'll remember for the rest of my life. But I think we both, did pretty good. I feel pretty confident saying that I won, and we'll just wrap it up there. So see you later, everybody.